everyone, and welcome to Wind Down Wednesday, episode 26. So we have been doing this practice for exactly half a year, 26 weeks now, and I can't imagine my life without this practice. I've said it before, and tonight I feel like it's extra important. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for taking this journey with me. If you've been here on and off or every week, or you watch these later, we're creating this energy that ripples out. And to me, this is how we change the world. And I felt like the world needed some changing today. So thank you for joining me. Let's get right into it tonight. So tomorrow, my very first kirtan, which is a call and response meditation song, comes out. It's called Ung Namo, and it'll be available to purchase, to download through my website, or you can stream it on Spotify and Apple Music and all the other Amazon Music, all the major streaming platforms. So that is starting tomorrow. And I've realized I've written 3 kirtans now. This is the only one that's out, but each time I write one, I realize that each of these kirtan meditation songs that I'm writing has an energy of its own that I'm sort of channeling through when it comes to me. And the Ung Namo kirtan to me is really about clearing space. It's about clearing space in your actual physical energy in your body, and also clearing space in your physical space. So it's a great song to play kind of in a room to clear energy. A lot of people like to burn sage, and I actually have asthma, so smoke is not really my friend, even when it's medicinal smoke. So I use sound to clear, and I feel like that kirtan is a great tool for clearing space, for kind of just moving that energy around and giving you an expansive, fresh start. And the same thing is true in the body. So I hope you'll check it out. And it'll be on my website, paulataylorenergy.com, on the music page. Holy moly. Today has been quite a day. And so what better thing to do and to talk about today than hibernation and rest and renewal? That's what we're going to be talking about. And again, my feeling about, of course, volunteering and being active in your community is important, but changing your own energy and changing the energy in your own household and your little microcosm of the world, your workplace, the people that you encounter, that change ripples out. And when we can bring love, when we choose love over fear, this is a life-changing, this is a world-changing practice. So when I was watching what was happening today here in the U.S., I just kept thinking about how I choose love. I choose love over fear. And that's what we're going to do tonight. That's what we do in this practice. So again, thank you for joining me. Let's talk about hibernation. So I wrote a blog post about hibernation last year around this time, and I encourage you to visit my website and check it out if you're interested. I'm going to talk a little bit about it tonight, but I don't want to go into too much detail because I want to get into a nice cozy meditation for tonight. But what do I mean by hibernation? Let's talk about that first. So right now we're in the middle of winter. A lot of animals hibernate. And some animals, if they're awoken before, if they're brought out of hibernation too soon, it can actually be harmful to them. And we're in a period of hibernation seasonally right now. And what do I mean by hibernation? Obviously, we're not sleeping in a cave for months, although sometimes that might sound nice. I'm talking about giving ourselves time and space to rest and to renew, and honoring the fact that in this seasonal change right now, in this deep winter that we're in, our body is calling for rest. Our body is calling for renewal. And regardless of what's happening kind of in your external circumstances, that call is still there. What do we do when we're hibernating? So hibernating is about looking inward, kind of that introspective taking stock of who we are. And especially at the beginning of this year, we're kind of looking back, at the last year, which most people would agree was very unusual, if nothing else. So looking at the past, kind of not judging it so much, but processing it, processing what brought us to this particular place in time at the new year, looking ahead a little bit to the future and setting intentions for the future without judgment, and then holding space for that, holding space for those things to happen, because that processing is hard work and planning is hard work. And so if we can hold space for that and be in rest and renewal and not feel that we need to be as active as maybe we are in some other seasons, that really gives us a chance to move forward in an intentional way. It's funny, I almost didn't make notes for tonight, and then I made notes, and I'm not talking about anything that's in my notes, which is probably why intuitively it was like, oh, you don't need to make notes. So now I keep looking at my notes and I'm like, I'm not talking about any of this, but that's okay. So also hibernation and winter in general is a time of preparation. It's a time of preparation for spring. So if you plant crops over and over and over again and you never let the soil rest, the soil dies. The nutrients in the soil actually die. And that's why farmers tend to rotate crops to different fields. So the same thing is true of us. If we don't rest and allow that hibernation to happen, then when spring comes and it's time to plant, we don't have that fertile soil to plant in because we haven't allowed the renewal to take place that enriches that soil, that allows our personal garden to rest and get prepared for the spring. And then we plant, and then we water, and then summer comes, and then we get active again. So one of the things I wanted to say, and I talked about it in that blog post, so again, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but there's a seasonal kind of thing that's happening right now. We're in winter, but you're also in a season personally in your life. And I think this is so beautiful. And actually at the women's conference that I went to last year, the Sister Soaring Summit, which was in person here in Tucson last year, this was kind of an icebreaker they did at the beginning of the summit. So we all broke into groups based on what season we felt like we were in our lives. And they gave us some descriptive words to help us. So if you were in spring, that meant you were kind of starting new things and planting. If you were in summer, that's the very active season where you're really doing a lot of things. Fall is kind of when you're wrapping things up and things are starting to end. Maybe you're reaping the harvest of all the things you did in summer, but you're starting to feel like you need some rest. And then winter is this period of hibernation where you're kind of really almost it can appear shut down, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. You can appear shut down to the outside world when you're in hibernation because they don't recognize all of the work that's going on internally and the importance of being in that rest and renewal. So I think it's interesting because when I wrote this article last year, I was definitely in winter. It was winter seasonally, but I was also in a winter. I was really in a hibernatory, that's not a word, I don't think. I was in hibernation myself. And I wrote the article because I kept seeing all this messaging. Of course, now looking back, it seems kind of funny. It was like 2020 is going to be the best year ever. It's the beginning of a new decade. What are you going to do with yourself? Are you going to get healthy? You're going to lose weight? All those messages that we get at the beginning of the year. And I was not feeling that. I was like, I am not starting anything new right now. I need to be alone. I need to rejuvenate. I need to rest. And so it led me to write that blog post where I talked about hibernation. And so interestingly, this year, a year later from when I wrote that, I'm definitely not in winter anymore. I'm much more in kind of maybe a late spring, early summer in my larger life, not seasonally, but in my personal life. I started a business over the last year. I've been planting seeds. Some of my flowers are growing. It's a very active time for me, and I have a lot of things going on externally. But seasonally, we are still in winter. So I still find myself called to hibernate. And what that looks like for me, rather than a kind of an extended period of hibernation, which is what I was in last year. Last year, I spent probably a good 6 to 8 weeks really just not doing much and doing this internal work and kind of being solitary. What that looks like for me now that I'm more in like a spring, summer, is that I'm doing a lot of work. I'm very active. And then I need like a day or 2 days or even just a few hours of rest, of nothing. I need to practice my renewal ritual and recharge myself, because even though I'm kind of in this spring, summer in my personal life. Seasonally, we're still in winter, and our bodies recognize that. So my body calls me to rest. My body calls me to renew. And if I don't listen to my body, then I start getting those physical symptoms and signals that tell me you need to slow down. So hibernation is important no matter what season you're in your personal life when we are in the actual physical season of winter. Every week I say, be easy with yourself, be gentle with yourself, try to let go of your self-judgment. And especially when it comes to hibernation, we are so programmed as a society to be active all the time, to be doing. And we don't place a lot of value on rest, or we haven't. I see that shifting a little bit, and it makes me so happy. I've seen 3 or 4 articles this year where people were talking about hibernation, and I was like, yes, because last year I felt really kind of alone, and like I was putting myself out there when I said that, because what I was seeing was more like, ooh, brand new year, brand new you. And now after the year that everyone has had, I think it has kind of forced people to turn inward a little bit and to recognize and start to honor what their body's calling for, what their soul is calling for. And it makes me very happy because, again, it's part of that kind of ripple effect of bringing more self-awareness. The more self-awareness we have, then the more we have the option to step into that love mindset instead of the fear mindset. Hibernation can look a lot like depression. And before I go on, I will say, if you are depressed, always seek help, contact a mental health professional, go see a psychiatrist. But what I'm talking about here is it's not clinical depression. I'm talking about feeling like you're depressed, or people actually thinking that you're depressed because you're in hibernation, because what you're doing or some of the symptoms you might have, some of the signs of this are similar. So sleeping a lot, self-isolating, feeling unmotivated, all of this absolutely can be a sign of depression, but it's also kind of how you might feel when you're in this hibernation period. You don't feel like going anywhere. You don't feel like talking to anyone. You just want to rest. You just want to sleep. And so holding space for that, if that's where you're at, obviously when you need help, reach out for help. But for most of us, we tend to judge ourselves the minute we get into that sort of situation. And I have a history of low-grade depression. So I'm always kind of like, oh no, is this it? Oh no, is this it? And I've learned to recognize that it's okay if I want to just lay on the couch and watch Netflix or Hulu all day. If that's really what's calling to me, then I'm easy with that. I hold space for that. Obviously, if I can. If I have to go somewhere, then that's a little bit more of an issue. But it can be so lonely to be in hibernation and not have people understand that that's where you are. And so be easy with yourself about that. Be honest with the people in your life about that. Use these terms that I'm talking about tonight. You can tell someone, I'm sorry, I just don't feel like talking today. I'm in a period of hibernation. And hopefully they'll understand what you mean, or they'll say, what are you talking about? And then you can have this whole conversation that I'm having with you right now with the people in your life. Because most of the time people want to support us and they don't necessarily know how. And so we have to ask for what we want. We have to be specific about what we want. And I talked about that when I talked about holding space for grief. And the same thing is true when we're holding space for hibernation. You may have to ask somebody, you may have to tell them what it looks like for them to support you while you're in hibernation. And of course, we want to do this in a loving and respectful way, but we want to state our needs. We want to have our needs met. And a lot of times people don't really, they maybe never thought about it until you said it. So more than ever, be gentle with yourself, be gentle with other people, and understand that sometimes people don't understand where you're coming from, and that's okay. But as much as you can, express where you are, express what you need to people, and you will be probably pleasantly surprised by the way that they respond. I know that I have been. Take time for yourself and then notice if your energy shifts. So when you're in this hibernation period, like the way it's been going for me now, if I take my day of rest, if I take my few hours or even 30 minutes or whatever I can fit in, I notice a shift in my energy. My motivation comes back up. I start feeling less sleepy. So when I feel these signs and symptoms that come on, like, oh, I just don't feel like doing anything today, then I ask myself, maybe have you been doing too much? Maybe you need some rest today. And then I figure out a time to put that rest into my day. Again, even if it's just 45 minutes of completely zoning out in front of the TV or putting time aside to do some toning or meditation or exercise, whatever feels like renewal to me at that moment in time. Okay, so that was not anything exactly like I was planning on talking about, but I choose love and I step into flow. So thank you for bearing with me. Hopefully that made sense. And I'm very excited about this meditation tonight because I was feeling very agitated today. And even as I sat down I was kind of running around like, oh, I'm all like running late for my wind down Wednesday, trying to get my clothes on and all this stuff. And it was nonstop, just weird things happening all day. And then there was what was happening sort of more on a global scale. So this meditation is going to be delicious. This meditation is going to be warm and cozy. If you have a cozy blanket, physically wrap it around yourself. I'm actually wearing pajama pants. You can't probably see them on the video, but this is a time to get really cozy and comfortable and safe and secure. And as usual, be easy with yourself, be gentle with yourself. If emotions come up, use that deep breathing to move that energy out of your system, release it for the highest good. But I think mostly this is just going to be yummy and warm and cozy. So let's get started. Oh yes, one more thing. So I'm going to use some specific visualization tonight. And as always, if that doesn't call to you, if you're seeing or feeling something else, go with what your intuition is sending you, the information that's coming from your higher self. But if it feels good to you, really let yourself get into this imagery. I'm going to use a lot of descriptive words. I'm really going to create an actual space in your energetic sanctuary that you can go back to hopefully achieve this feeling of just cozy warmth and safety and rest and renewal. Ooh, I needed that. So take 2 to 3 to maybe 5 tonight of those deep breaths in through your nose and let them out. Let that ha sound come out. That vibrates the vagus nerve. It helps bring you out of that fight, flight, or freeze mode and into that resting and relaxation mode. Let yourself start to settle in the body, in the space you're in. Let go of anything else that happened today, of anything you have to do tonight or tomorrow. Really give yourself the gift tonight of being present in this moment, of traveling into this cozy, warm, beautiful, restful state. Allow your breathing to relax, taking those deep breaths, sighing them out anytime you need to. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth allows for more release, even if you're not using that vocalization, that ha sound. And let's get grounded into our space. Imagine the top of your head, that crown chakra, gently opening. Invite the loving energy of unconditional love, of divine flow. of bliss and joy to flow in through the top of your head. Let it come into your scalp, into your forehead, into your eyes, into your brain. Let this flowing, beautiful light come into your jaw and your neck and your throat. Allow this soothing, relaxing, golden light to flow into your shoulders. Let it come down each arm through the upper arms, into your elbows. Feel this beautiful energy like a wave of calm, relaxing light flowing down into your forearms, your wrists and hands. Allow this energy to let you start to feel heavy and relaxed as it flows into your chest and your upper back. Let this light flow into your abdomen and your mid-back, to your low belly and low back. Let this restful, renewing energy, this divine light, flow into your pelvis, into your hips. Take an extra deep breath here and draw this warming, cozy energy in through your head and down through your torso, all the way to your hips. And then sigh it out down into your thighs toward the knees. Take another deep breath of this loving light and energy all the way in through the top of your head, down through your torso, your hips, your thighs, and into your knees. And then sigh that energy down into the calves, into the shins, into the ankles and feet. And for a moment here, imagine your feet in whatever kind of earth calls to you, whether it's rich, fertile soil or sand or grass, whatever comes into your head is the right thing for you here. And just bury your toes, your feet into this physical earth for a moment or two. Let that warm, fertile energy of the earth that's so alive, even in hibernation, let that come into your body from below and mingle with the energy we called in from above. Allow that rich, fertile, dark earth energy to come up your legs and into your pelvis. Let it mingle here with the other energy we called in. Letting yourself feel really heavy here. Letting yourself feel relaxed, letting go of any thoughts that come up. Just watch them float by like clouds through the sky. Take a last breath or two into any remaining areas of tension you feel in your body. And now remaining rooted here, heavy and grounded in your body, call your energetic sanctuary to you. Stay in the body for this meditation and invite your planet, your space to come to you. If you're not familiar with your energetic sanctuary, that's fine. Just follow the descriptive words that are coming. But if you're used to traveling to your sanctuary, don't leave your body, just bring it to you. Bring that safety, that security. And know that the space we're building will remain in your sanctuary on your planet for you to revisit anytime you'd like. This is a special area of rest and renewal, of retreat. This is your special hibernation location. So let yourself be drawn to this location now, and let yourself see what it looks like. I'm going to describe it to you, but if you see something else, go with that. Let yourself see a beautiful lodge, whatever that looks like to you, whether it's a cabin or a Swiss chalet. Notice that you're standing outside in a blizzard, and it's a little bit frenzied, it's a little bit uncomfortable, and you'd like to go inside to this structure, this lodge. You're going to leave all that blizzard behind, all that chaos of the day. Come into this safe space, noticing right away that there's a giant fireplace. Let yourself walk up to the fireplace, noticing what the room looks like here. Letting that come from your intuition. This is your special space. So whatever the walls look like, whatever the structure looks like, let that come organically to you as you walk over to this fireplace. And there's something in front of the fireplace. It might be a chair or a sofa, it might be a big fluffy beanbag. This is your unique place for rest. This is where you come to sit. Maybe you're just lying on a rug. Whatever you see here is coming directly from your higher self to create this special space. So let yourself rest in whatever this is now, sitting, lying. Notice that there's a tray next to you with a warm beverage. Maybe it's tea or cocoa, maybe it's coffee. Maybe it's a special cider that your grandmother made for you. Whatever you see here, know that when you drink this beverage, this hot, cozy beverage in this cozy space, the liquid that you're drinking is rest and renewal. So pick up this mug or glass or whatever it looks like. Hold it in your hands for a moment. Let the warmth come into your hands. Let the warmth of this entire space come into your body as though you've been out in the cold and you're just now feeling warm. And as you're ready, drink this renewal beverage. Let it come into your mouth. It's such a taste of homecoming, whatever this taste is. And feel this liquid flow down your esophagus and into your stomach, warming all of your internal organs. The energy of this beverage, of this drink, is filling all of your body, all of your energetic bodies around your organs, around the body itself. Let this renewal beverage come into you. And know that you can come back here at any time when you need to renew. And this will be waiting for you. And as you're ready, explore your space a little bit more. Notice if there's anything else in the room that's calling to you. Notice if there's any people or spirits or animals there. Maybe you have a beloved pet with you next to the fireplace, or a lost loved one. Maybe you're picturing somebody you haven't seen in a long time. Whatever comes to you here. Maybe there's no one here and you're in total solitude, and if that's the case, that's exactly what you need. Let that be. But let yourself get totally settled in this space as we ask for some guidance about rest and hibernation. And as you're ready, ask your guides, your intuition, your higher self, the divine, what does hibernation look like in my life? What kind of rest am I calling for? How can I honor and hold space for hibernation in my life at this time? And then just be still and wait for an answer. And maybe nothing's coming to you tonight, and that's okay. But if you are receiving an answer, it could be just a feeling, it could be a sound or a smell, it could be visual, it could be words. Really let yourself take that answer to heart. Let yourself recognize that you deserve to be honored in this way, in this restful fashion. You deserve to take space and time for yourself. Regardless of what is happening in your external circumstances right now, you can find time to return to this state of rest and let yourself be renewed. Allow yourself one last moment in this cozy space. Maybe you're wrapped in a snuggly blanket. Take a few more drinks of your renewal beverage if you'd like. Check in one more time and ask if there are any messages for you today. And then affirm with me out loud if possible. I honor my body's need for rest and renewal. I hold space in my life and the lives of others for hibernation. I allow myself to rest. Remembering that this is now a permanent part of your sanctuary and you can come back here at any time. Very slowly. Let this sanctuary, this planet, float back into your energetic field, away from your body, remembering that we're still in our body here, we never left. So we're releasing this space and coming back into the present moment, into our physical space in this present moment. Bringing with us that sense of relaxation, of rest, that feeling of cozy warmth. If you'd like to, you can gently allow that crown chakra at the top of the head to close up. But if you'd like, you can leave it open for the highest good. Let yourself stay connected to that earth energy here that we connected to at the beginning of the meditation. If you feel that you need to, you can affirm, I am fully present in my body. I allow myself to rest, and I am present in my body. I stay present and grounded in my body, regardless of the circumstances around me. And affirm with me out loud, if at all possible. I choose love, and I release fear. I allow myself to be expanded and in flow. And then just sit for a last few moments, keeping your eyes closed, maybe gently moving your feet and hands around a little bit. I'm actually going to end tonight with my Tibetan singing bowl, just gently so that it doesn't overwhelm the microphone and maybe a little more toning. So just let yourself relax for this last 30 seconds or so. As you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Hopefully you feel, as I do, in a completely shifted state of mind, in a calmer state than when we started. Feel free to come back to this meditation as many times as you like. to re-access this state of rest and relaxation. Allow yourself to hold space for renewal and hibernation in the days and weeks to come. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thank you for being with me for 6 months of Wind Down Wednesdays. Enjoy the rest of your night and the rest of your week. And I will see you next week for Wind Down Wednesday. No.